5 inches that side. Half on that side. So 6.5 for the first. I need paper. That would be lovely. Some sort of paper. I have everything in here. Oops, remember. There's some scrap paper. Okay, now at the 5-inch mark. So that is 5 and 1, so I'll say 6 inches. Move this down to the 10-inch mark. And we have 1 3/4, 1.5, 3.25. Okay, 5 more inches is 15. So we're at 1 and 2 is 3. And 20. 2 inches, 3 inches, 5 inches. And then at the 25 mark, move that out the way now. Somewhere over here. And we have 3 and 2 is 5. Calculator. Because yes, I'm cheating on that part. Calculator. 28.75 divided by 6 is 4.79, so I'll just say 4.80 is my average width, and 24 is my length. And double check. That one's not correct because that's got the thingy to it. 1.5 is the proper length, height, depth, whatever that word is. 1.5 depth. Okay, let me pull up the calculator thingy for that. Find somewhere I can set my phone so it's out of resin way. That back over here. This here. Stuff out of the way because I'm working on limited space. Okay, so. Calculator. Epoxy calculator length. That was 24 at the bottom, but 25 at the top. We'll say 24.5 to get more accurate. The width was 4.8 as an average, and thickness is 1.5 inches. $93 ounces. That does not seem right. And I don't even have a container big enough to mix that amount in. Anyhow, so we're going to go with, let's see, I need it in thirds. It's 2 to 1. Give me 45 ounces. Okay, that sounds about right. But for starters, we need to get this situated so it's not going to move around, float around, or anything else. I sanded it back down, and then I cleaned it off with an air hose and some isopropyl alcohol. So the resin will adhere to it. I'm not going to pour any on top. I will do a final clear coat once I get the blue in for around the sides. I will do a final clear coat on top. Excuse me, sorry. So this is, where is it at? A mold from Empire Molds. This can be done for like a big charcuterie board or a small river table. This literally makes a great 1 foot by 2 foot little side table for like the end of a couch or a chair. It's literally perfect size. You can get like 18, 20-inch table legs to go underneath it, and it looks great. I've made one for my husband. This one I'm making for my parents. I will be making one for myself later on. My son wants me to make him a tray, which I will be using the Let's Resin one, because he wants it kind of sort of beach themed. Quit moving that around. I had that where I wanted it. Okay, sorry. But Empire Molds, they make this. They also make bigger and smaller molds. And they come with the holes in some of them for placing your brackets on here that will, you know, hold your wood down. I'm going to have to figure a little something else because these are just at the wrong height size for this. But yeah, you can get Empire Molds at empiremolds.com. Like I said, they've got, this is not a sponsored video, but, and it even has a thing on the back to show you a resin calculator information. Tips for using the mold, keeping it clean. And before I start, I completely forgot. I have to spray this with the silicone release spray. Oh boy. That would have really been a huge mistake. Okay, let me get all this fun stuff back out again, including the wood. Because if not, you're not getting your piece out very easily, and you can damage the mold trying to do so. This is the spray that I use. Hold on. Move my screen back over so I can see what I'm doing. Apel Mold Release Lubricant. And shake it up. And you just do a good thorough sides too. Make sure you're getting your sides all the way around. Okay, let that air out a second. Alrighty, now I've got to figure out something because these are too big and I need to find something for these to stay on the bottom and something that will go in between. That will be thick, hard, immovable to keep pressure. What do I have? So, let's see. Maybe I can get some of these just close enough for one to work for both. Let's see. Okay. Got that side on. Let's see. Yep, that side should work now. And I'm going to have to shimmy this up some once I get it all on here to level it out, because I can see it is not level. I asked my husband to help me level my table, but he's been busy. He was on call over the weekend and worked a lot, so he didn't get a chance to. So I'm just going to have to grab some popsicle sticks and level it up myself. Just under the stop that. Now these are the I'm using old coasters, the very first set of coasters I made over 3 years ago. My granddaughter plays with them, calls them her cookies or pies, cakes, and stuff like that. All right, I need you backed up. Okay, that should be good. Klutzy. So I just got to make sure I don't get anything on these coasters. Clearly I didn't do a good job. This was my very first time at the Petrie effect and using tattoos and resin on this one. And it sun faded a bunch, and the Petrie didn't work because I didn't shake my white sinker. I don't think I even had the correct white sinker. I think it was just a white, not an actual sinker alcohol ink, because it was generic brand I got from Michael's. I did the same with this one, and then I had black, and then I put plastic ring spiders in here that I cut the ring parts off from. The black one you can't see because I can't see because I backed it in black. This one I put candy corn into, and there was a little taller than the mold, so they stick up some. I also put a little bit of glitter in there, and then I put the eyeballs in these. Like I said, these were done 3 years ago. This was a little Halloween set, and they just, didn't come out quite how I liked them. But my granddaughter loves playing with them. She's been playing with them since she could pick them up and walk around, but they're completely sealed in. She loves playing with them. She loves playing with a lot of my stuff. She takes off and says, I want. And I've made a lot of stuff specifically for her too. Okay, let's get on with the build. Let's see. Is it this way it needs to go? Nope, it's that side. Okay, so I need popsicle sticks for the back side. Let's start with 2. And nope, not enough. Okay. Oh, my back. Loads better. Okay, so maybe 1 on the front right. Didn't seem to help. Which side is it that's... Oh, wow, my back. Eek, gads, too much. Is that going up too much? Okay, that's good. Set you back there and just leave you back there for right now. Okay, not super tight, but tight enough to hold things down. Don't need it to, you know, do dents or anything in there. Just need it to hold it down. Oh, that makes it even better. I can see 15 ounces. Gloves. Okay, and I'm using FGCI Super Clear 2.0 liquid glass 2 to 4 inch thick pour, even though it's only going to be about 1.5 inches approximately. And I need 15 ounces of this, and then I'll have to do this twice for the other part. Lid. Okay. Pour that in there. And get oil. Try and get all of this out before I go grabbing part A, the resin part. This was just part B, because this is a 2 to 1, because it's a deep pour. There, first one for me. Come on, and the drips out possible. Alrighty. Milliliters back to ounces, and I'll have to do this twice. Y'all scream at me if I don't do it twice. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. All right, start slowing down some. Come on, drip that last little drip. Thank you. Lid on. Not screwed. Just sit there for a second so I can get this part out. Dumped in. Scraped into the bucket. So for starters, we are doing 45 ounces, 15 of hardener and 30 of resin is 45. That's the 2-to-1. It's the closest I could get for starters. And you always, always, always mix your resin up thoroughly, properly before you add your colorant. I know I've seen some of the bigger companies put their resin and hardener in, and then they go and dump the color in before they start mixing. You don't know if you've mixed your parts together properly. You need to make sure you mix your parts together properly before you add your colorant. Just by going by the time still doesn't mean you have it 100% mixed properly. Always mix properly before you add your colorants. Okay, and I should not have done that. Let me get a wet wipe just in case there was any hardener part on there. Did not think about that. Bad habit. Okay, clean that off good because I don't want my lid fused to the bottle and not being able to get into it. Okay. And set that aside in case I need it again. Ooh. And the last of the 15 ounces of that into there. Scrape it all through. Thankfully, this is nice and liquidy. Comes pouring out really nice and easily. And this is really easy stuff to work with. I've used this before, which is why I had bought it again. And I had intended to do this a lot sooner, but with health and pain and a lot of other things that had been going on, I just hadn't gotten around to actually doing this table. I meant to start it months ago. Set that down there, and I will at least get some of this. I don't want to get too much on my gloves. I'll clean my gloves off in a minute. Just trying to make sure I don't have any drips anywhere. Set this over out of the way. Trash that. Clean my gloves off. My bottles need refilling. Alrighty, now I will set this here and find where I can get my plug in it. Let's hope this works up here. Ooh, really? Now I need another. I didn't need two, just one. Clean the resin off of my cord. Here, cover that up with that. I'm trying to get everywhere. Alrighty. Turn on. 5 minutes. And start. Whoa, easy, easy, easy. Finger control. And just like using any other, mixer, you try and, go around watching for your streaks, and you'll have to, once you're done with this part, you will have to use a manual stir stick and get around the bottom and the sides to make sure you have all of your resin fully incorporated. And once I get it all done, I will also be putting this in my vacuum chamber because I have a 3-gallon vacuum chamber. And I need to get bigger buckets for doing bigger pours like this. So I need one that's more than a 2.5 quart. I eventually want to Okay, let's start this again. I have no idea at what point we lost recording, but I was in the middle of talking and I happened to look over at the StreamYard and it said that I lost mic and I had to restart my whole computer. So while it was restarting, I was still stirring and doing this. I was talking about when you finish mixing your resin with your mixer, that you still have to go back and hand mix by scraping sides and the bottoms and stuff to ensure that you don't have any streaks left whatsoever. Otherwise, your resin will not cure properly. You can have bendy spots. It can crack. You can have all sorts of issues if you do not get your resin thoroughly mixed properly. It may not even cure, So make sure you have no streaks left whatsoever. And hopefully it also caught the part of me talking about when you mix your resin, you always mix part A and part B first before adding your color. There's a few exceptions, such as if you're doing like polyurethane. In that instance, being as you only literally have 20-30 seconds to mix your stuff, yes, you can put your colorant into one side and then you mix it and then you kind of sort of go by the temperature. You're holding your cup while you're mixing, and when it starts to feel warm, you start pouring because that's when you've got it mixed. So I'm going to put you on a pause. Oh, no, wait, I gotta put color in here. I gotta measure up how much color is going into here. Clean my gloves off. And I'm going to grab a small plastic cup. To put a little alcohol into and measure the amount of powder going in. So my fan's going to have to go off briefly. I just need literally ever so little. All right. And half, I think, is the one I'm after. If I remember correctly, I hope I do. Let me sit down. Boy. Whew. Sorry, I don't have a big enough workspace to have this in view. But this is the Cosmetic Grade Mica, a sprinkle of creativity, Electric Bliss Beauty pigment powder. And it doesn't say the color name, but it is, let's see, sorry, this color blue. My mom said turquoise, but I don't know. This is what she wanted. This is what she's getting. And I'm starting with half of a teaspoon for starters. So if I do have to mix up more, I will have the exact amount in. Okay, put the lid back on that. And then I'll put that in there and see how it goes after I get it mixed up into this. And if it's not enough, then I can mix up some more. Okay, that's not enough. It dried up too fast. There we go. So you just want just a little bit so you can try and get your powder properly mixed, and that is not going to be enough. So I'm definitely going to have to get some more. Let's go for another half teaspoon. Well, for that amount, I'm just going to go for 2 teaspoons. Okay, set you there, because that is a lot of resin. So if it's not enough, I can, like I said, I can add more. I've got lots. Get some resin brought into here. See if I can help get some of this out too. Once I get it thoroughly mixed, I will put it in my vacuum chamber to get any bubbles out before I go to pouring. We are still recording? Yes. Come on, off the sides. Okay, set you over here. Get my hands cleaned off. Of the mess that I'm making. Okay, so that was 2 teaspoons used. Okay, so let's get this mixed, see how it goes. If I need to add some more. Alrighty. That looks pretty good and opaque. Alright, sticky, sticky. And that's a little trick, is you pour it to the depth you want it and check your opacity. So if it's not opaque enough, if you're wanting it to be opaque, that way you can add more to it, but you can't take away. Being as I want it opaque, that's good for me, because that's what my mom wants. She wants it opaque. Which is a crying shame to me, because you're missing out on all the views of the wood. Which is why I am doing a bit of the top layer still in clear. So you still have the blue, but you are going to have some in clear after the first layer cures. And then that way it still has the wood, and the wood will be fully encased as well. Okay, so I've got to move a few things around to get to, actually, I think I might put just a little bit more blue in there. Make sure my gloves are done, but I've got to move a few things so I can get to my vacuum chamber. That should be good. Set the lid down to the side gently. Alrighty, going to get just half a teaspoon more. Set that down. Sit down. Oh wait, my seat. Back up. There we go. Okay. This is why I do the trick with the alcohol, because of the chunks. I don't like the chunks. especially in such an amount of resin. It is so hard to get through. Thoroughly mixed. I might actually use my little mixer here. Where's the little mixer at? I got this part, but where's my paddle? Oh, really? Oh, there it is. And I can turn my fan on now that I'm done pouring that stuff in. And because I am hot and sweaty here. See if this will help break up some of these powder bits. A pretty blue. I wouldn't call it turquoise, but it's a pretty blue. It looks like a sky blue to me. But it does match her couch. No. Oh, fallen, please. Okay, you sit over here. Thank you. You trip. I'll get y'all cleaned up after I get this stuff poured. Alrighty. All right, I'm going to put y'all on a pause, and I'm going to take that over to the vacuum chamber because that's going to take just a few minutes. Okay, looks like we are about ready to pour. Let me let my gloves dry off, cleaning them off. Going to pour the two bigger sides first, and hopefully I can not spill on the wood spots to get to the other sides. This is going to be fun. More forward. I'm going to get baby wipe to clean that up because I don't want that running down. Can I just get one this time, please? Just one. Thank you. Okay. All from here first. Set you out of the way. Okay. Off from there. Don't want it on the table. Thank you. So it don't drip to the floor anywhere else. It's not supposed to. Definitely don't want it running down the sides. Okay, that should be okay. And this spot over here. Here we go. Everything else was a nice clean pour. And I will just keep an eye out for bubbles. And with deep pour, I don't use alcohol. I will use a little long neck lighter on this for any bubbles that may pop up. So I'll just keep an eye on this, and we will see you for the next part, which we'll be mixing up when this cures in a couple of days. I gotta look back. I think it's... Does it say on here the time? For temperature 70 to 84. I'll have to look on their website to see how long it takes for full cure. I already see a few bubbles coming up by some of the wood section. It's probably where I got a little too close on sanding, which I expected. Because I do know I got a corner or two a little close on sanding, but that happens. But, you know, majority of it, I'm not going to have, you know, major bubbles coming from a lot of the sources because it has its own coat of epoxy all over it. But you have to sand it in order for this resin to adhere to it. And as long as I don't let this fully cure and it's still tacky, I can do the clear coat next without an issue. Alrighty, we shall see you back when it's time for that next part. Thank y'all.